Boom. All right, what's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about what is about to be the busiest week of this earnings season and what's also the final trading week of April. You guys, this month has been a roller coaster, and I'm more than ready to move on to the new month of May. I'm excited to see what it has in store for the Waves family. As many of you know, I have been short the market for the past week or two now, and by the looks of things, as we move into this Sunday evening, crypto markets are down, stock futures are way down, so I'm feeling pretty confident as we head into the week. But we will just have to see, of course, these earnings, the results of many of these massive companies that are reporting this week will massively impact the price action across the equity markets and really the investor sentiment around the equity markets moving forward. So we will cover all of the earnings that are going down this week. We'll go over each of the names that are reporting on each of the days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, on top of some other things, some other macroeconomic catalysts that you should be aware of. So let's get down to it. We will kick off the video by reading over the earnings playbook. Again, CNBC just puts these together. We'll go over Monday, Tuesday, every day of the week, as I just said. We will then recap on Netflix's earnings, one of the most catastrophic earnings reports that has, probably ever occurred in past decade or so. So we will cover Netflix closes down 35%, wiping more than $50 billion off its market cap. That's, absolutely bonkers. But this is a great testament to just the fear that is in the air right now, and a lot of the negativity that is surrounding the markets. The cloud that this earnings call casted over this new week of earnings, I think, will be very real. And again, this will act as a precursor of what's to come this week, unfortunately. Okay, but again, fortunate if you're short in the market like I am. Okay, so that's pretty much that. We do have, once again, futures open right here just to keep an eye on how things are going over the course of this video. These were actually pretty flat. A few minutes prior to recording, as I was prepping this, the crypto markets were in decent shape. Everything was pretty flat, but literally just in the past minute or two, as I've started recording, I've watched this before my eyes, as I've scuffed the past couple of intros fall. So things are looking pretty bloody, and hey, again, there's always a bull market somewhere. Even if that bull market is shorting, there's always a way to make money, you guys, and that's very important to remember as a trader, as someone who's involved in the markets. Again, it's way funner to be a bull. I'm an optimistic guy by nature, and I do like being long. I like being bullish on some of my favorite stocks that are doing very cool things. But the reality is, sometimes the only way to make money is by shorting, and again, that's okay, as long as at the end of the day you're making money. As long as the Waves fam is eating, I'm happy. So that's that, you guys. Again, not as fun, but that's just the nature of the game sometimes. That's the nature of the beast. All right, so before we get into any of these, you guys, please give the video a like if you do go on to gain any value from it today. That's greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you want to join the Waves fam, and that's also appreciated. And let me know in the comments down below, are you feeling bullish or bearish going into this week? If you're bearish, are you ready? Are you prepared? Do you have hedges? Do you have puts in place? And if you're bullish, what is your favorite stock at this moment in time, or what's your favorite crypto as well? Okay, so again, you guys, after we go over these, we will close out the video talking Bitcoin. I do have futures open right now. Futures markets are telling, but as I've said many times in the past in the newsletter as well, the crypto markets are the true futures markets. Okay, so what futures are doing? Well, if you go on CNBC, CNN, any website that has futures on it, those do mean something, obviously, but the real futures market, at least when it comes to kind of tech sectors of the market, like the S&P, like the NASDAQ, Bitcoin is a lot more telling. Bitcoin and the crypto markets are way more telling as to what the US equity markets are going to do, especially on Sundays. Okay, so we will close out the video by taking a look at Bitcoin. I will do a little TA on Bitcoin, let you guys know what I'm looking at, and just a few indicators and a few levels that I'm eyeballing right now with Bitcoin, and how I see this upcoming week playing out for the king of the crypto markets. Okay, so that's how we're going to close out the video. Before we talk earnings, though, I do want to read through the intro, or part one, I guess, of the newsletter that I wrote and sent out to the portfolio newsletter group on Friday. Okay, as yes, the markets are melting. My puts were printing this day, so I'm very glad. I'm very thankful that we came in to, or I guess we closed out the week properly hedged and properly armed for what was an absolute bloodbath. So I just want to read this. It goes over some of the macro fundamentals at play right now and just my thoughts, my general thoughts on the markets, because I mean the way we closed out last week is very similar to my sentiment and my beliefs as we head into the new week. Okay, and even more so now, seeing once again how the crypto markets and the futures markets are responding at the time of recording, which is 2:35 p.m. Hawaii time. Okay, so happy Friday, fam. Happy Sunday right now. Again, same principles apply. The markets closed out the week with some carnage after Fed Chairman Jerome Powell implied that a 50-point rate hike, which is 0.5%, was on the horizon, and also, as I mentioned yesterday in yesterday's Waves news, they are bouncing around the idea of a potential 0.75% rate hike, which is bonkers. Not guaranteed to happen by any means, but that's a scary scenario in the case that it does. Anyway, this shouldn't come as much of a surprise because, as many of you know, inflation is out of control, and it's about time the mega caps feel some pain. The S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow are all down over 2% at the time of writing, with the Dow surprisingly leading the charge downward. This is a dynamic that we haven't experienced in quite a while, but it's also a dynamic that I'd love to see playing itself out. The Dow Jones Industrial Average consists of legacy American institutions like railroads, banks, Coke, Pepsi, etc. And the fact that the DJI is down more than the tech-heavy NASDAQ and a hyper-growth ETF like ARK, which is only down 1.7%, speaks to the early phases of the cyclical rotation back into growth stocks, and therefore some of the Waves fams' favorite names. There are high levels of fear present across the markets today, and it's not just amongst the little guys this time around. For the past 6 months, retail investors have been the primary beneficiaries of the bloodshed because so much of the downside has been focused on growth stocks. Now that it's the companies within the Dow and S&P that are bleeding, it's banks and institutions that are feeling the pain. It's rare that the whales get spooked, but when they do, the entire ocean can get pretty spooky. Even small caps and growth stocks are in the red today, but as I mentioned above, they're not down as bad as most legacy sectors. The fact that Vuzix and Matterport are down less than Apple and Amazon is pretty crazy, but it's also a sign of the times. Closing this out, you guys, almost done. This has been my thesis for a while now, and I believe it's finally beginning to play itself out. Capital will begin to flow out of overbought mega caps and find a new home in oversold small caps. This is obviously the ideal scenario for the Waves fam, so I am biased towards this outcome. There's always a bull market somewhere. As of today, and again, going into this week for sure, as of today, going into this week, that bull market is being short the market, and my puts are printing. It always feels a bit darker making money when the markets are melting, but hey, it's all in good business at the end of the day. And again, you guys, that's what I was saying. It's not as fun being a bear. I'm an optimistic guy. I like being bullish on some of my favorite companies, some of my favorite growth stocks. That's way more fun. I don't enjoy shorting Tesla. It is fun. It is honestly kind of fun to stir up the pot, and just again, you guys, it's stirring up the pot. It's getting things exciting. But I'd way rather be bullish. I'd way rather be bullish on these innovational, revolutionary companies and make money that way. But again, at the end of the day, when all's said and done, it's all business, right? It's all in good business. We're traders at the end of the day. We're working to have our capital multiply itself and have our money make us money. And again, if you're in a bear market, you can easily sit on the sidelines. That's perfectly fine. But me personally, I'm trying to make as much money as I possibly can while deploying capital. And sometimes that requires being short the market and having puts and shorting certain stocks. And that's just, as I said earlier, the nature of the beast. So always know you guys, my money's where my mouth is. Right now I am bearish, and if you guys want to know exactly how I'm shorting stocks, exactly what my current portfolio consists of, check this out. And you also get one of these bad boys in your email inbox every single trading day. This is only part one of 2 parts. Write this during market hours, and then I send out the other one right after market closes with a whole bunch of charts, real-time price targets, so you don't have to wait till way later in the day. It's nighttime for most of you, or the next day for the videos. And it's not even guaranteed. I don't think I'm going to post a video tomorrow, honestly. So if you guys want my daily newsletter, which I do write every trading day, that is my obligation to you guys, to the real ones, to the Waves fam OGs, along with, of course, a complete breakdown of my entire personal portfolio. You want to know what my portfolio consists of on a daily basis, which I do update, of course, every day, and I do explain the trades I make in the newsletter. Okay, so if you guys want to know how I'm trading, why I'm trading it, that is going to be the first link down below. Absolute steal in my opinion, but course, I'm biased. $15 a month or $40 for every 3 months. Completely up to you. Give it a shot. If you don't like it, just unsubscribe. But I'll work hard on it. I feel it's worth a lot more than this, but you be the judge of that. First link down below. Appreciate it if you check it out. If not, no worries at all. Let us get into talking some earnings. The busiest week of the earnings season is coming up with roughly 160 S&P 500 companies slated to report, including tech giants such as Apple and Amazon. Other companies scheduled to deliver their latest quarterly figures are Coke, Chevron, and GM. It has been a solid earnings season thus far. Of the S&P 500 members that have reported, 79% have beaten analysts' expectations, FactSet data shows. Of course, other than Netflix, which again just casts a cloud over the rest of the sector. Take a look at CNBC's pro breakdown for what to expect. So I'm not going to go over what to expect, but we will go over the names. So Monday, Coke. Monday, chill day. We're really rolling into the week without much of a bang, but again, you guys, just the way things are looking from a technical perspective, it's looking pretty dark. Anyway, Monday is Coke. Tuesday is where things start to get exciting. So Pepsi, Coke versus Pepsi. Tale as old as time. Chipotle, very good consumer facing. Chipotle, very famous for raising their prices, really taking advantage of inflation. Chipotle reporting very good consumer facing. The results of that will be a very good consumer facing metric. How much are people eating out? How much are people willing to just spend on the little stuff like that? GM, classic American company. Alphabet, that's a massive one. So Alphabet and Microsoft on Tuesday are the biggies that you should all be, the NASDAQ and S&P are heavily reliant upon. Breaking Japan stocks down 2%. Oil slides more than 1% after Wall Street sell-off. That is creating, obviously, once again, a very negative, very negative investor sentiment. And there's a very bearish and pessimistic aura in the air right now. If you guys haven't sensed that yet, but yeah, Alphabet, Microsoft, those are the two biggies on Tuesday. Definitely keep an eye out for those. They are both reporting after hours. So in the case that, just because ad revenue is getting so crushed, like ad rev based on Apple's new privacy update was a lot more detrimental to many companies. Facebook and PayPal were great precursors to that. That's why, Facebook's ad revenue was down so significantly. Alphabet is also a company that's very highly dependent on ad rev. Whether it's through search or whatever, or YouTube, etc. And as a YouTuber, I can tell you guys that ad rev for YouTubers has been significantly down, okay? So, Alphabet, I can't imagine they impress. I can't imagine any tech company is going to impress in this market, if I'm being completely honest. Even Snapchat, they whipsawed after earnings. They were up a little bit in after hours after their earnings on user growth, but still, every single other metric was down. So, it would really surprise me if Alphabet and Microsoft impressed. But, hey, time will tell. Wednesday, Boeing. Not even going to address that. Ford, kind of same thing, just very consumer-facing. How much are people buying cars? Meta, good old Meta is coming back. Facebook is going to be reporting. I can't imagine. They disappointed so heavily last quarter that it would be difficult to believe that they would disappoint even more. But, you guys, times are rough. Again, Facebook is super reliant on ad revenue. And the marketplace for ads is just in a very sketchy place right now. I have worked a lot in e-commerce too, so I'm not gonna say I'm well versed in AdSense and whatnot, but I'm familiar enough to know that right now it's a very, very tough and tricky environment for advertisers online. Okay, so Thursday, Merck, Twitter's going to be an exciting one to see. Twitter, Comcast, McDonald's, very consumer facing as well. Apple is the big one. What was this, Wednesday? Man, there's a lot of earnings this week. Oh, okay, sorry, Thursday. So Thursday, Apple, Intel, and Amazon. So Apple and Amazon, obviously, over half of the FANGs are reporting this week, and Apple and Amazon are closing out the week. So this could either be, if there is a canary in the coal mine, if there's a silver lining to this week, I think it's going to be Apple, just because they're so self-sufficient for the most part. Apple is the only company that I think could potentially beat on earnings, but the same reason I'm just short the markets in general, and I'm just bearish moving forward. And I do think, there's been a lot of recessionary talk. This is nothing new, but I do think it's possible a recession could come up, is because people are running out of money, right? I've been saying this in the newsletter a lot, and this is just common sense. Like, there's no more stimmy. There's no more stimmy checks, right? There's no more unemployment. There's no more free lunches, right? And when people are running out of money, and when people have to earn their money again, they're going to be less reckless with it. They're going to be spending on less, especially while gas prices and food prices, because of this inflationary macroeconomic environment, are affecting that as well. There's less stimmy. The cost of goods and services is higher, and that creates more value and more tangible. Like it creates a lot more reality and an unfortunate reality at that around the value of the U.S. dollar and the actual need for a U.S. dollar. Again, NFTs are a great example of that. That's why the NFT market's finally like slowing down. Crypto's slowing down. When people need money for gas and food, they're a lot less concerned about buying NFTs and about buying JPEGs and stuff, right? So that's the reality, guys. That's why, again, just there's less consumption. I'm not saying the U.S. economy is going to crash. I'm not even saying the stock market's going to crash. But I'm saying it's very, very obvious that consumption is going to slow down. The economic growth, there won't be growth. It will slow down. And that's okay. That's just part of the cycle. I still believe in the U.S. long term. I still believe everything will be okay in the long run. But the reality is, coming out of such a hot and manic environment like we have over the past couple of years, it would be irrational to believe that things wouldn't slow down at the very least. Okay, so that's my 2 cents. I could be completely wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times in the past, but that's just my general belief. Okay, so Friday, Chevron closing out, and also Friday, the Fed is making some statements on Friday that will also heavily impact the markets as well, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so that's that, you guys. Netflix closes down 35%. We'll quickly go over this. We touched on this briefly yesterday, but let's just go over some key points. So shares of Netflix plunged Wednesday. The streamer reported it lost subscribers in its most recent quarter. The company shed more than $50 billion market cap as a result. At least 9 Wall Street firms downgraded the stock following the disappointing report. Shares of Netflix down more than 35%. Showed lost subscribers for the first time in more than a decade. The results and weak outlook led to a wave of downgrades from Wall Street on fears over the company's long-term growth potential. The drop caused Netflix to shave more than $50 billion off its market cap. It's now the worst performing stock of 2022 in the S&P, down 62.5% year to date. So you guys, again, this creates a very, very fearful environment around the tech sector, around, just growth stocks in general. Again, Netflix is still a great company. And Netflix, although they did get significantly overextended in the pandemic, and it's crazy, just like this past November, Netflix was at a high in the span of just half a year. Something so the stock could be so it's not even catastrophic, it's like cataclysmic what has happened to this stock in just the span of half a year. So again, you guys, this speaks to the mania, to the uncertainty overall, to just the level of just fear and just hot-headedness in the markets right now. There's so much emotion present in the markets, which creates for, again, a very potentially lucrative environment if known how to play properly. Complete portfolio if you want to know how. I'm choosing to attempt to do that at least. But again, you guys, this is not an environment for the faint of heart, and I do still believe things. I've thought things were going to get ugly for a while, but again, you guys, there's no free lunch. There are going to be repercussions for the actions that have been taken over the past few years, for the amount of liquidity that has been injected into the markets and into the hands of retail and into the hands of so many people who probably shouldn't have had that much capital to just throw around and deploy. Now push is finally coming to shove, and that's just, again, the nature of the beast, and it'll be very, very interesting to see how this plays out. May is the birthday month, so I'm remaining optimistic. Fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed for the Waves fam. That's that, you guys. That is earnings. Let's quickly take a look at BTC and close it out. So futures not down as much as they were when we kicked off the video. I think they were down like 0.5, 0.6%. Right now they're just down just under 0.3%, but we'll see how things play out. Again, futures markets are super shaky. I really don't pay any mind to the futures markets, especially on Sundays, or any day of the week at that. But the crypto markets once again are the true futures markets, and right now the crypto markets are looking pretty dirty. But hey, there's over the next couple of weeks, there's going to be a lot of opportunity here. If you guys saw it like in the newsletter just Thursday, I think I added some render. We'll likely be adding some more soon. Mana, Sand. There's so much potential here, you guys, for the future. But the reality is, again, that's just the nature of cycles and the nature of people running out of money and then people getting excited again. And hey, we're going to be back at it soon. But you got to go through the hard times to appreciate the good times and to understand how cycles work as a trader, especially if you want longevity in this sport. Okay, so Bitcoin, from a technical perspective, in the short term, we have broken my level of support. I'm counting. We're on daily candles right now. Bitcoin is not looking good. First of all, stochastic RSIs are on their way down. They do not look like they want to curl up anytime soon, so they will probably bottom out, if that is just in my opinion. On top of that, just RSI and EMA, or exponential moving average. The RSI is currently below its EMA, which is bearish. That also lends me to believe that there is likely no upside ahead. Maybe we go sideways still. We have been going sideways for quite a while. So in my personal opinion, especially in the case the equity markets fall and Bitcoin does act as that chaos hedge, inflation hedge that it has lately, which is very impressive. Again, Bitcoin has been the strongest performer as of recent memory, definitely outperforming the S&P and NASDAQ, which is crazy. But best case scenario for Bitcoin, especially again in the case that the equity markets fall even, is sideways. It's very, very unlikely to me that Bitcoin goes up from here. Again, just given the fact that there's less money, you guys. When there's less money, you can make all the optimistic, all the moon boy arguments you want. Bitcoin is 100%, in my opinion, not reaching an all-time high this year, just given the fact that there's less money in circulation, less money to buy Bitcoin with. So that's a huge factor. But hey, again, that's just my 2 cents. Maybe I'm wrong. Short term, I think now that Bitcoin has broken this line of support, this cyan line right here, again, broke below it. It's a little iffy, but again, you guys, I never count like candle wicks like that, but I do think that'll come into play. I'll explain that after. I count this as Bitcoin's line of support on its medium-term uptrend dating back to late January of this year. So line of support, very strong line of support that was broken not too long ago, came up, retested this previous line of support as new resistance. You can see how this is a solid trend line, given the fact that there are a lot of breaks, there are a lot of wicks above this, wicks above and below this trend line, but there's not really any closures above it. So I do think this is a solid trend line in play. You can see that was confirmed by, again, broke support, came up, retested support, previous support as new resistance, and now we're on our way back down. I view this personally as a lower high right here. We are currently in a short-term downtrend. I think Bitcoin is going to set in a lower low, which we're on our way to do right now. My first target is going to be this purple line right here, which again is taking this long wick into account right here. And again, when we're talking traders, that's what traders are going to be looking at. So first touch point here, late January, next touch point here, late February, that is creating the line of support on this current uptrend right here. I think Bitcoin, maybe even by the time you guys watch this, but probably by tomorrow, especially in the case the equity markets fall, Bitcoin will see about 37.5K. When we see that, that would also lead to pretty much setting in a lower low as well on this current medium-term uptrend. Okay, so right now, again, support has been broken. That's bearish. In the case that we do break, I'll say if we break below $37,000, which is a clean break below these levels over here, if Bitcoin does break below $37,000, that is where I think the anchor will fall into play. And really fall to the bottom, go rock bottom. I didn't even know I could do that. Flipped it. It's not turning upside down, not going that way. We're going down, but you guys get the point. In the case that we break below $37,000, I think it's going to be, I'm not going to say a fast descent down to $28,000, but I do think that once $37,000 is broken, if we do break below that, I think that over the coming weeks, it is a lot more likely than not that $28,000, $28,000 to $31,000 is kind of the range that I'm eyeballing right now. I do think Bitcoin can fall as low as about $24,000, but that is a bridge that we will cross if and when we come to it. For the short term, I think Bitcoin 28 to 31 is going to come sooner than later in the case that we break below 37. And hey, again, you guys, it's a lot funner to be a bull than a bear, but you got to be objective. You got to play rationally as you can. And hey, if you sold now, if you wait a few weeks, in the case that we do see a $30,000 Bitcoin, you'll have 20 to 25% more Bitcoin for the long haul. That's just that's just a reasonable way to think about it, right? Okay, so we'll call it there, you guys. Again, let me know what you think, if you're bullish or bearish on the markets going into this week. And again, if you want to know how I'm trading on a daily basis, if you want this bad boy, if you want the daily newsletter that I work so hard on and would appreciate so much if you checked out, that is going to be the first link down below as well. It's $15 a month. Just check it out. But if not, once again, no worries. I really do appreciate you guys watching this, and hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend and a great beginning of your work week. Catch you guys soon. Until then, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.